Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm very excited today because I have been to the post office. I've picked up my copy of the Alice Tarot and I am going to unbox it now for you so that we can all have a look at my first impressions together. If you have been following my channel since the beginning, you will know that I am a huge Alice in Wonderland fan. I read the book every now and again. I've read it so many times. It's one of my favourite stories. I have so much nostalgia attached to this story as well. I mean, I remember being, very young, and a Saturday evening we would get chips from the chippy. My mum would make tablet, which is a Scottish thing, a bit like fudge, but not quite. If anybody's interested in tablet, I can always link something in the bottom for you to go and have a look at if you don't know what it is, but I love tablet. You cannot get it in England for love nor money, and it's just incredible. It's one of my favourite things. And we would sit and watch the Disney version of Alice in Wonderland together, and we would do that probably once a year. We would watch that film. So yeah, I've got so many fond memories of the book, and it is still very much one of my favourites. So the Baba Studio Alice Tarot is one that I've always wanted, and never, when the first edition was out, I didn't even know it was a thing. So I never managed to get the first edition, but as soon as the second edition was announced, I ordered my copy, and I'm really impressed with how quickly it came. I'm just very excited. So it came with this beautiful card actually, which was nice, and it says on the back, "Thank you for choosing a Baba Baroque design by Baba Studio. We hope you enjoy this picture of Bridget, which is part of our Irish Myth and Magic series." And then it's got the names of the creators and their website and stuff. So it's a very lovely picture. Very green, very lovely. So the deck is by Alex Ukolov and Karen Mahoney. It says on the back, "This curiously beautiful deck presents 79 illustrations of the unforgettable characters of Wonderland. This is the second edition. Fully illustrated and based on RWS established tarot meanings, includes clear instruction booklet with keywords." The box is really sturdy. I love the caterpillar. I've said this before, I think I said this on my Tarot in Wonderland video, but does anybody else see the caterpillar and just hear Alan Rickman? Or is that just me? Because I can't look at the caterpillar now without hearing Alan Rickman in my head. The two are irrevocably entwined forever. I don't even think irrevocably is the right word, but anyway, they are entwined forever within my brain. The box is amazing. I don't have any other boxes like this, and I really like it. It's like a little book. It's really nice. Really good size, will sit really well on the bookcase. It also smells incredible, by the way, for anybody who likes that new thing, new book, new box, new card smell. I didn't order the bigger book. I think there is a bigger book that you can get with it, but I didn't order that. So mine just comes with this little white book, which has a picture of the moon card there, a little bit about the Alice Tarot, some curious Alice Tarot spreads. So you've got, what have you got? You've got Down the Rabbit Hole, the Cuckus Race, the Tea Party, My Own Wonderland. And then it goes into the major arcana. It tells you what the image is on the card. So the Fool, for example, is Alice chasing the white rabbit down the rabbit hole. Some keywords, some Alice meanings, and then it does that for every card. So the Alice meanings for the Fool, you've got following someone into the unknown, which may be perilous, entering bravely into another world, or finding an entirely new way of thinking about this world, taking a disorienting step into something new, bravely beginning an adventure, or dreaming of escaping a boring period in your life. And it kind of does that for every card. And then you go into the minor arcana, and it talks a bit about that. And then you've got, again, it tells you what the picture of the card is, the standard meanings and the Alice meanings for each card. And then it looks like, yeah, so the court cards are separate a separate section. So they've got the court cards as a separate section at the back. I hope the light's not too bad. It's that time of day where it's not far off the sun going down, but if I turn my light on, it'll just bounce off the cards and you won't be able to see them very well. So I'm hoping the light is okay. Move my table a little bit closer to the window, that might help. So there's 40 pages, the little white book. So it's a pretty good sized little white book. Really impressed with that. Really nice. And I'm hoping anyway the cards are, you know, RWS enough that you shouldn't need any more information. So as you can see, I haven't even had the cards out yet. There's the pull thing. I like the backs. I think the backs is one of the things that they've changed, and they're really shiny and they look like a deck of cards, which I personally really like. And you've got the spade, the diamond, the heart, and the club on there. So I actually really like them. I really like the colour. Very, very nice. They smell amazing. They really do smell good. The cardstock's really good quality. I don't know the first thing about GSM and all that kind of stuff, but they're pretty thick. They're pretty bendy. They don't feel like they would get ruined too easily. They feel like they could probably handle quite a bit of wear and tear. And then you have, let me zoom in on these so we can get a better look. So you've got a title card, which has got their designed by and illustrated by, their Facebook page, their business address, website address, another Facebook page maybe. Oh, a Facebook, can you tell I've just got home from work? A Facebook page for the Alice Tarot specifically, and then a Facebook page for the actual Baba Studio as well. So that's their title card. Have you ever read or seen the Alice in Wonderland book? Some of them come with illustrations, and these are very, very reminiscent of the illustrations that you would see in the book, which I think is deliberate. And I think the borders, there's supposed to be like looking into the book. So normally I don't like borders, but the border's really unobtrusive. It's really small. It frames the picture perfectly. So I'm not overly bothered. The colouring is amazing. They look a little bit like photos. The White Rabbit is one of my favourite characters as well. I love the White Rabbit. That's from Through the Looking Glass, which is obviously coming back out at the end. That's also from Through the Looking Glass with the crying baby. They're just beautiful. So you can see here how it's kind of like coming out of the border, like coming out of the pages of the book, which I think works spectacularly. Yes, the caterpillar is the Hierophant. Yes, yes, yes. Love it. Absolutely love it. So there's no numbers, at least on the majors. It's just the name of the major card. Oh, look. The little oysters, they've already been eaten again from Through the Looking Glass. Those poor little oysters think they're going off to have a wonderful day and then they all get eaten. So sad. Is it the Walrus and the Carpenter? I think it is. Again from Through the Looking Glass with the weird train journey for the Chariot. Again, Through the Looking Glass. There's quite a lot from Through the Looking Glass. The Lion and the Unicorn is very British, the Lion and the Unicorn. So I don't know if you know, I'm sure you do, but the lion is obviously the symbol of England, and the unicorn is the symbol of Scotland. So it's very, the lion and the unicorn and their battle in the Looking Glass is very symbolic of the like ongoing battles between England and Scotland throughout history, which I really appreciate. And I really like that as a strength card. The Hermit. And this one is from the normal, it's the first one, Alice in Wonderland, where she uses the fan to get it to grow bigger, or grow smaller. I can never remember which way around, when she's in the White Rabbit's house. Delilah. This one has writing on. I think it's like from one of the books. They're really sturdy cards. You can tell as you turn them over. They're really good cardstock. Really, really good. The Cheshire Cat. I like the Cheshire Cat. Oh yes. The Queen of Hearts is death. Off with her head. It makes so much sense. It just makes so much sense. Everyone so far just, you know, there's a little caterpillar again, just makes so much sense. Like Temperance, where she has to eat, she has to nibble a little bit of one side of the mushroom to grow big and a little bit of the other one to grow smaller again, and get the right amount from each one and balance it out in order to get back to the right size. It just makes so much sense to me. The Jabberwocky. Beware the Jabberwocky, my son. The jaws that bite, the claws that catch. I like the Jabberwocky. Humpty Dumpty falling off the tower. Like, I have to say, as an Alice fan, I appreciate so far every single choice they have made for every single card. See, that tree has an eye. Can you see that? The tree has an eye. That's a bit freaky, isn't it? They're just so well done. Tweedledee and Tweedledum. Again, the Queen of Hearts for Judgment makes perfect sense. Honestly, they are so spectacular. When I was younger, I always wanted to play croquet with flamingos and hedgehogs. And then as I got a bit older, I realised how ridiculously cruel that would be and how inappropriate that would be. But when I was young, I thought that sounded like a fun game. I'm not going to necessarily talk about every card and bore you for hours with stories of Alice in Wonderland. I would just say that if you haven't read the books, please read them. They are very odd, I will admit, as a grown-up. They are very strange stories, and maybe my love of them is purely nostalgia, and possibly if I read them as an adult I wouldn't enjoy them as much. But I just find them fascinating, absolutely fascinating stories. I really enjoy them. Tweedledee and Tweedledum having their battle. I will say, just looking at the cards and the choices that they've made, I imagine that this deck is, I reckon you could enjoy this deck whether you know the stories or not. I feel like you can appreciate the artwork and appreciate the, you know, the Rider-Waite symbolism in a lot of these cards, even if you aren't conscious of the story. But I do think that if you know the stories and you understand the stories and the choices and what's happening in the cards in relation to the story, it would just add such a huge layer of meaning to each single card. The Hatter. The Talking Flowers again, this is from Through the Looking Glass. So the baby that turns into a pig, that's right. The screaming baby that turns into a pig. I'm probably not making any sense if you haven't read the books, but... And the little sleepy dormouse. And the images are obviously taken from the book. So the Disney film obviously embellishes on the book quite a bit and adds quite a bit to the book. And then the Tim Burton films are not actually retellings of the book. They are stories inspired by the book. So even if you've seen them and you enjoy them, I would still recommend A, watching the Disney film, the original Disney film, and B, reading the book. And I am going to keep saying, read the book. Read the book. Read both books. Actually, if you're going to get these cards, read both books, because there is a lot in these cards from Through the Looking Glass. And Through the Looking Glass is an even weirder story than Alice in Wonderland, if that is at all possible. Look how he's stepping out of that card. It's just brilliant. My only concern with this deck, which I mentioned on a post in Supportive Tarot, that this is the most money I have ever spent on a single deck of cards. I'm also really conscious of the fact that it's a limited print run, that the second edition may be the last edition and we may not get another edition of these. So they're basically irreplaceable. They were expensive for how much I've spent on a deck of cards before. I don't begrudge spending the money. I think it is money very, very, very well spent, and I would spend it again tomorrow if I was given the choice all over. I think the quality of these cards are phenomenal and the box is phenomenal. It's absolutely worth the money. But because they're expensive and irreplaceable, I'm a little bit frightened to ever actually use them. And there's a small part of me that thinks maybe this should just be a little collector's deck and they should sit on my shelf and be well looked after and never used, and, you know, but I don't know. That's interesting. The Five of Coins is interesting. So this is where she walks through the forgetting wood, where you basically forget everything. The forgetting forest, she forgets everything, she forgets her name. And she walks through with this little fawn who also can't remember what it is, and they keep each other safe while they walk through the forgetting wood. So that's a really interesting choice. Is this the competition where they share sweets? Maybe. As prizes. But everybody has to have a prize. Painting the white roses red. Oh, that's interesting. Like, they do almost look like photos. They're so well done that they almost look like photos. This artwork is phenomenal. I don't think this camera is probably doing them justice at all. March hare. And then that's the extra Lovers card. So you get 2 Lovers cards in this deck, which is why you get 79 instead of 78. So you have that one, or you have the Carpenter, the Walrus and the Carpenter and the Little Oysters. I actually, personally, I think I prefer the 2 Flamingos as a Lovers card, but I do appreciate the Walrus and the Carpenter card as well. I keep saying Carpenter, I think it's Carpenter, I can't really remember. That might be wrong, please feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. But that story makes me a little bit sad for the little oysters that will get eaten. So there you go. The borders of the card are pretty neat as well, actually. They have this like blue running through the borders of the cards. So I don't know what the first edition was like. I don't know what changes they've made and how big the changes are. I don't really care. I absolutely love this deck. I'm very, very, very happy with my purchase. If given the choice to purchase them again, I absolutely would. As a huge, huge Alice in Wonderland fan, I could not be happier with my purchase. I'm just so happy right now. And now I'm just going to go and stroke my cards for a bit and just be all... So thank you very much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed seeing these cards and going through a little bit of a walkthrough with me, and I would love to hear your thoughts if and when you buy this deck, if it's one that you've purchased, or when you buy it, when you receive this deck, if it's one that you've purchased, or just in general in the comments what your thoughts are about this particular deck and whether you are an Alice fan like me. Take care everybody, and I will see you all in the next one. Lots of love. Bye bye.